The neon glow of the golden arches always held a certain allure for me. Growing up, McDonald's was a place of joy and excitement, a promise of delicious food and a break from the mundane. But what started as a simple craving for a quick meal would lead me into a chilling, true horror story that shattered my perception of the familiar fast food haven. It was a rainy evening when I found myself driving past the familiar McDonald's that had been a part of my childhood. The nostalgic tug at my heartstrings, coupled with a grumbling stomach, led me to make a spontaneous decision. I was going to indulge in some comfort food. I pulled into the drive-thru, my headlights cutting through the darkness as I navigated the winding line. The rain drummed against my car's roof, a soothing rhythm that somehow heightened my anticipation. As I approached the order speaker, I rolled down my window and placed my order, a Big Mac meal with a side of nostalgia. The speaker crackled to life, and a voice that seemed distant and distorted, confirmed my order. I shrugged off the strange quality of the voice, attributing it to a technical glitch. After all, it wasn't unusual for drive-thru systems to have occasional hiccups. I pulled forward, the scent of fries and burgers wafting through my car's interior. The fluorescent lights of the parking lot created an eerie ambiance, casting long shadows that seemed to dance in the rain. As I parked my car and reached for the paper bag containing my meal, a shiver ran down my spine. The atmosphere felt different, charged with an energy that I couldn't quite place. I found an empty booth near the window and unwrapped my burger, the familiar taste evoking memories of carefree days. But as I took a bite, a strange sensation washed over me, a taste that was off, almost metallic. I examined the burger, but it looked no different from the countless Big Macs I had consumed before. Shrugging off the odd taste, I continued eating, my thoughts wandering. It was then that I noticed a figure out of the corner of my eye, a person sitting in the booth across from me. I glanced up, expecting to see a fellow customer, but what I saw sent a chill down my spine. The figure was shrouded in darkness, its form indistinct and blurry. I blinked, thinking it was a trick of the light, but when I looked again, the figure remained. Its eyes, if they could be called eyes, were pools of darkness, seemingly devoid of any discernible features. A sense of unease settled over me, a feeling that I was being watched by something beyond human comprehension. I forced a shaky smile, thinking that perhaps it was a fellow diner playing a prank, but the figure made no movement, no indication that it acknowledged my presence. I turned my attention back to my food, my appetite suddenly gone. The rain continued to fall outside, the sound a hollow echo that seemed to permeate the air. I stole another glance at the figure, but it remained unchanged, a shadowy sentinel that defied explanation. I decided to leave, my discomfort overwhelming any desire to finish my meal. As I stood, I caught a glimpse of the figure again. This time it seemed closer, as if it had moved while my back was turned. The realization sent a shiver down my spine, and I hastily made my way to the exit. The rain had intensified, a torrential downpour that seemed to match the heaviness in my chest. I reached my car and fumbled for my keys, the feeling of being watched lingering like a weight on my shoulders. As I started the engine and drove away, I stole one last glance at the McDonald's, the golden arches glowing in the rain, the figure nowhere to be seen. Days turned into weeks, and the memory of that unsettling encounter never left me. I tried to convince myself that it had been a figment of my imagination, a trick of the mind brought on by an overactive imagination. But deep down, I knew that something had been off, something beyond explanation. It wasn't long before I stumbled upon an online forum where people shared their strange experiences at various McDonald's locations. The stories ranged from odd sightings to inexplicable occurrences, flickering lights, eerie voices, and a pervasive feeling of unease. The more I read, the more I realized that I wasn't alone in my encounter. Determined to find answers, I reached out to others who had shared their stories. The responses I received were a mix of confusion and fear. Others had experienced similar encounters with shadowy figures, strange voices, and an overall sense of dread. It was as if there was something lurking beneath the surface of McDonald's, something that defied rational explanation. Intrigued and unnerved, I decided to revisit the McDonald's during the day. The sunlit atmosphere felt different, almost inviting as I walked through the familiar doors. The place was bustling with activity, families, students, and workers on their lunch breaks. I approached the counter, my heart pounding, and ordered a coffee. The cashier smiled, her demeanor warm and friendly. As I waited for my order, I couldn't help but steal glances around the restaurant, half expecting to catch a glimpse of the shadowy figure. My coffee arrived, and I settled into a booth, my eyes scanning the room. The atmosphere felt ordinary, the sound of chatter, the aroma of food, the mundane backdrop of a fast food restaurant. But I couldn't shake the feeling that something lingered beneath the surface, something that defied explanation. As I sipped my coffee, I struck up a conversation with a nearby employee. Casually, I asked if they had ever experienced anything strange or unusual while working at this McDonald's. The employee's expression shifted, a mix of unease and caution. "Yeah, some of us have seen and heard things," they replied, their voice hushed. "But we don't talk about it much. It's unsettling." I pressed for more details, but the employee seemed reluctant to share. It was as if they were afraid of acknowledging the unexplainable occurrences that had become a part of their daily routine. As I left the McDonald's that day, I couldn't help but feel a mixture of curiosity and trepidation. The stories, the encounters, and the eerie atmosphere had left an indelible mark on me. The place that had once been a source of comfort had become a nexus of unease, a realm where the line between reality and the unknown seemed to blur. To this day, I still ponder the true nature of what I encountered at that McDonald's. Was it a trick of the mind, a shared hallucination brought on by stories and fear? Or was there something lurking within the walls, something that defied our understanding of the world? One thing is certain, the golden arches no longer hold the same allure for me. The memory of that chilling, true McDonald's horror story lingers, a reminder that even the most familiar places can conceal secrets that challenge our perception of reality.